So what we have in this question is sine 42 into sine 48 minus of cos 42 into cos 48. We need to evaluate its value. And how will we do that? You see, I have just written down sine 42, whatever is there in the question, I have just written down. Sine 42 into sine 48 minus of cos 42 into cos 48. See, now we will change 1 and we will leave 1 as it is, right? Sine 42 I have written down over here as it is, and this sine 48, you know that 48 can be written as 90 minus of 42. So in place of this 48, what did I write? I have written 90 minus of 42. So sine 42 as it is, I have written, no changes. But for this sine 48, what I did is that sine 90 minus of 42. Thereafter, I have left cos 42 as it is, and this cos 48, in place of this 48, what I write? 90 minus of 42. So what is the formula? We know the formula as sine 90 minus of theta is equal to cos theta. Similarly, sine 90 minus of theta is cos theta means, similarly over here sine 90 minus of 42 will be equal to cos 42, right? So that's what we have written down over here in place of this. So what we have in this question is sine 15 into cos 75 plus cos 15 into sine 75. See, we will write as it is. First of all, sine 15 into cos 75 plus cos 15 into sine 75. Just we need to think, see, out of these two, sine and cos, either we will convert this cos into sine or else this sine into cos by writing as 90 minus of angle. And over here what I have converted is that I have converted this cos, I will convert this cos into sine, and you see how. See, this cos 75 is over here. In the next step I will write sine 15 as it is. Thereafter, in place of this cos 75, I will write this as cos 90 minus of 15. See, we are having cos 75 and 75 can be written as 90 minus of 15, so that's what I have written down over here, plus cos 15 I will leave as it is, and this sine 75 which I have over here, I will convert that as sine 90 minus of 15, because 75 can be written as 90 minus of 15. Now you see what will happen. You know the formula that cos 90 minus of theta is equal to sine theta. So similarly, cos 90 minus of 15 will be equal to how much? Sine 15. So its value will become how much? Sine 15. In the next step, you see sine 15 I have written as it is. In place of this cos 90 minus of 15, I have written sine 15. Plus this cos 15 I have left as it is. And now you see what's the formula for sine 90 minus of theta. You know that sine 90 minus of theta is equal to cos theta. So over here what do we have? We have sine 90 minus of 15. So how much will we get? It will be equal to cos 15. So in place of this sine 90 minus of 15, what I can put? Cos 15. So in the next step I have put this cos 15. Sine 15 into sine 15 becomes how much? Sine square 15, and cos 15 into cos 15, how much it becomes? Cos square 15. And we know that sine square a plus cos square a equals to 1. So over here sine square 15 plus cos square 15 will be equal to how much? 1. So we have evaluated this and we got the value as 1. So what we have in this question is sec 75 by cosec 15 we are having, and we need to find its value. We need to evaluate its value. And how can we do that? You see this angle 75. See, 90 minus 15 if we write, what are we going to get? We are going to get 75. So in place of this 75, we can put this 90 minus of 15. When we do so, what we will write? Sec 90 minus of 15 whole by cosec 15. And what is the formula? We know that sec 90 minus of theta is equal to cosec theta. So sec 90 minus of 15 will be equal to cosec 15. So in place of sec 90 minus 15, what we will write? We will write cosec 15. Cosec 15 by cosec 15, they cancel out, and what do we get? We get 1. So its value is 1. You see, there is another question also, right? Over here we are having cos 55 by sin 35. plus cot 35 by tan 55. In this question also we need to evaluate its value. Remember one thing, if 35 is over here in the denominator, what you can do with the numerator is that you can write 90 minus of 35. Whenever you do this 90 minus of 35, you will always get the angle of this one, and that is equal to 55. And in place of this angle 55, what you can write? You can write 90 minus of 35. When you do so, what you will get? Cos 90 minus of 35 whole by sine 35. Plus, again, you see, over here also there are two angles, cot 35 by tan 55. If tan 55 is over here, 55 angle is over here, you can write this cot as 90 minus of 55, and you will always see this 90 minus of 55 will be equal to this angle. This 90 minus 55 will be equal to this angle, and that is equal to how much over here? 35. That means in place of this 35, what we can write? 90 minus of 55. When we do so, what we will get? We will get cot 90 minus of 55 whole by tan 55. You see, now we are having two things. It is of which form it is there? Cos 90 minus of theta. And what is the formula for it? Sin theta. If cos 90 minus of theta is equal to sin theta, then cos 90 minus of 35 will be equal to how much? It will be equal to sin 35. So what we will write over here? In place of this cos 90 minus of 35, we will write sin 35. So sin 35 by sin 35 plus, again, what do we know the formula as? We know the formula as cot 90 minus of theta is equal to tan theta. So cot 90 minus of 55 will be equal to what? Tan 55. So in place of this cot 90 minus of 55, what we will write? We will write this tan 55. When we write, what do we get? This tan 55 by tan 55. So what we will have? Sin 35 will get cancelled, and what we will have? 1 plus, similarly tan 55 will get cancelled, and what we will have? 1. So 1 plus 1 is how much? 2. So by evaluation we got the value of this as